Number 1. 1996 Jaguar XJ6 Sedan, priced at $3,000. Now here's a classic British luxury sedan that still carries a lot of elegance even decades later. The 1996 Jaguar XJ6 represents the traditional Jaguar formula: long hood, smooth body lines, and a cabin built for comfort. Finished in a tan exterior with a matching tan interior, this car has the timeless executive look that Jaguars were famous for in the 1990s. The design is sleek and understated, with the classic oval grille up front and those signature quad headlights that give the car a very recognizable face. Inside, the XJ6 is all about comfort and classic luxury. These cars were known for their plush seating, wood trim, and a driving experience that focuses more on smooth cruising rather than aggressive performance. This particular example shows about 95,000 miles on the odometer, which for a car of this age suggests it's been driven but not excessively. It's paired with an automatic transmission, making it an easy and relaxed car to drive whether you're commuting or just enjoying a weekend cruise. Fuel economy is listed at around 15 miles per gallon in the city and about 22 on the highway, which is fairly typical for a luxury sedan of this size and era. For someone looking for an affordable entry into classic European luxury, the Jaguar XJ6 can be a very interesting option. With the right care and maintenance, these cars still offer a unique driving experience and timeless style. And at just $3,000, this could be one of the most affordable ways to step into a classic Jaguar. Alright, let's move on to the next car. Number 2. 1964 AMC Rambler 440 Convertible, priced at $3,000. Now here's a classic American convertible that you definitely don't see every day. The 1964 AMC Rambler 440 represents a unique era of American cars when style, simplicity, and open-top cruising all came together in one affordable package. This particular example comes finished in a striking red exterior with a white interior, which is a combination that really fits the classic convertible look of the mid-1960s. The body is described as pretty straight, and being a California car is usually a good sign when it comes to rust. Under the hood, it still carries its original inline-six engine paired with an automatic transmission. According to the seller, the motor does start and run, which is always a big plus for a project car like this. The interior is said to be in good condition, and the car also includes extra trim pieces, spare hubcaps, and a few additional parts that could help during restoration. The main thing it needs is a new convertible top, which is pretty common for cars of this age. But once that's sorted out, this could easily become a fun classic cruiser for sunny weekend drives or local car shows. With nearly 100,000 miles on the clock and a clean title in the seller's name, it sounds like a solid starting point for someone looking to bring an uncommon classic back to life. And at $3,000, this Rambler convertible could be a surprisingly affordable entry into vintage open-top motoring. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 3. 1986 BMW 520/80, priced at $4,750. Now here's a classic German sedan that represents the era when BMW really built its reputation for solid engineering and balanced driving dynamics. The 1986 BMW 520/80 is part of the legendary E28 generation, a car many enthusiasts still admire for its simple design and reliable mechanicals. This particular example comes finished in white with a blue interior, giving it that clean, classic European look from the 1980s. The body design is simple and elegant, with those signature BMW kidney grills and a shape that still feels timeless today. Under the hood sits BMW's well-known M20 inline-six engine paired with an automatic transmission. These engines have a reputation for durability, and according to the seller, this car has been used as a daily driver since 2022 without ever leaving them stranded. The owner has also taken care of several important maintenance items. The timing belt and water pump were replaced in 2023, and in 2024 the car received new brake pads, rotors, and tires. Oil changes have been done regularly every 3,000 miles, which is always a good sign. There are a couple of small issues mentioned, like a missing original shift knob and a slightly rough idle during cold starts, which might just require cleaning the idle control valve. With over 200,000 miles on the odometer, this BMW clearly shows it has been driven and enjoyed, but also maintained along the way. For someone looking for an affordable entry into classic BMW ownership, this could be a very interesting option. And at $4,750, it's a relatively budget-friendly way to get behind the wheel of a vintage German sports sedan. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 4. 1986 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce Convertible 2D, priced at $4,700. Now here's a classic Italian roadster that's all about style and driving feel. The 1986 Alfa Romeo Spider Veloce is one of those cars that instantly makes you think about winding coastal roads, sunny weekends, and the simple joy of open-top driving. Finished in blue with a tan interior, this Spider has the timeless European sports car look. The long hood, low stance, and elegant body lines are classic Alfa Romeo design, and even today the shape still looks incredibly stylish. This particular example comes with a manual transmission, which is exactly how many enthusiasts prefer to drive these cars. With just over 112,000 miles, it's clearly been enjoyed, but it's also received a long list of recent maintenance. According to the seller, the car recently had fresh oil and filter, new tires, replaced spark plugs, cleaned fuel injectors, and several new fuel lines installed. The rear brake components have also been serviced, along with suspension parts like the lower ball joints and tie rod ends. Even the soft top has been cleaned and treated with waterproof protection. Inside, the Spider Veloce includes power windows, power mirrors, and leather interior, giving it a nice mix of classic sports car character and everyday comfort. Overall, the seller describes it as a great driver with a clean title and current tags. And at just $4,700, this could be a surprisingly affordable way to get into a classic Italian convertible. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 5. 1972 Plymouth Valiant, priced at $4,500. Now here's an interesting Mopar project that could turn into something really cool with the right vision. The 1972 Plymouth Valiant is known for its simple design, lightweight body, and strong potential as a performance build. This particular example is finished in blue and recently received a fresh paint job, giving the car a clean appearance from the outside. The body is described as very solid, with no rust on the frame, which is always a big advantage when starting a classic car project. However, this Valiant is currently a roller, meaning it does not have an engine or transmission installed. But the seller does include some very interesting parts in the package. Along with the car, you'll get a standard bore 1967 440 big block engine block, complete with main caps, timing chain, oil pump, and a set of 906 cylinder heads. For Mopar fans, that's a pretty exciting foundation for a future high-performance build. The seller originally planned to swap in that big block, but with too many projects on hand, they've decided to let this one go. There is some rust mentioned on the passenger side floor panel, but overall the structure is said to be solid. The car is being sold with a bill of sale only and offered as a package deal. For someone looking to build a unique Mopar project, this could be a great starting platform. And at $4,500, it might be an interesting opportunity to create a serious big block sleeper. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 6. 1995 BMW 3 Series 328i Convertible 2D, priced at $5,000. Now here's a classic 90s BMW that perfectly captures the era when the brand was building some of the most balanced driver's cars on the road. The 1995 BMW 328i Convertible from the E36 generation is still loved today for its sporty feel, clean design, and open-top driving experience. This particular car comes finished in Moria green, a deep metallic shade that really suits the elegant yet sporty lines of the E36 chassis. Even today, the proportions of this car still look modern, especially in convertible form with the top down. Under the hood is BMW's well-known inline-six engine, and this car has been swapped to a manual transmission, which makes it even more appealing to enthusiasts. The swap includes a PMC shortshifter, a fresh clutch and flywheel, new shifter linkage, and a new master cylinder. With just over 132,000 miles, the seller says the car runs and drives well and is essentially bone stock aside from the transmission conversion. The interior is also described as being in great shape with no rips or tears in the seats. The convertible top works manually and is reported to be in good condition. The body isn't perfect, but overall it's still described as very clean for a car of this age. There is a check engine light on due to the swap, although the seller mentions it still passes smog. For someone looking for a fun, affordable 90s BMW convertible that's ready to drive, this could be a really solid option. And at $5,000, it's a pretty attractive entry into classic BMW ownership. Alright, let's move on to the next car. Number 7. 1973 Ford Mustang Coupe 2D, priced at $6,000.
Yeah, it's running. Damn. How long you want it to be? All right.
Turn it off, I'm gonna turn it back on.
Now here's a classic American pony car that represents the early 1970s Mustang era. The 1973 Ford Mustang Coupe carries that unmistakable long hood and short rear deck design that made the Mustang such an icon on American roads. This particular example comes finished in bright yellow with a brown interior, giving it that bold vintage look that fits the period perfectly. The body style of the early 70s Mustangs is slightly larger and more aggressive than the earlier models, giving the car a strong road presence. Under the hood sits a 351 Windsor V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. According to the seller, the car runs well and has received quite a bit of recent maintenance and upgrades. Some of the newer components include brand new tires, completely refreshed front and rear suspension, and a rear disc brake conversion replacing the original drum brakes. It also has a new front sway bar and a new valve cover gasket, which suggests the owner has been putting effort into keeping the car mechanically healthy. The seller also mentions that the heater and air conditioning both work properly, and all the main electrical systems, including headlights and taillights, are functioning as they should. With around 98,500 miles and only 2 owners, this Mustang sounds like a solid classic driver that could be enjoyed right away while still leaving room for future improvements. And at $6,000, it could be an appealing opportunity to get into a vintage V8 Mustang without breaking the bank. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 8. 1986 BMW 3 Series 325i Sedan 4D, priced at $7,500. Now here's a classic BMW that represents one of the most beloved generations the brand has ever produced. The 1986 BMW 3 Series from the E30 era is widely respected for its balanced handling, simple engineering, and timeless design. This particular car is finished in white with a beige interior, giving it that clean and understated European look that BMWs from the 1980s were known for. The E30 sedan design is simple but elegant, with the iconic BMW kidney grille and boxy proportions that enthusiasts still love today. Under the hood is BMW's inline-six engine paired with an automatic transmission. While the E30 is often known as a driver-focused car, even the automatic versions still deliver a smooth and enjoyable driving experience. According to the seller, this car has been very well maintained over the years. Previous owners, who were family members, kept detailed maintenance records dating all the way back to 1992. The current owner continued that tradition by keeping every service receipt during their ownership. The seller also mentions that the car has been extremely reliable and has never failed to start or get them where they needed to go. It has consistently passed emissions tests, with records available to back that up. With about 148,000 miles on the odometer, this BMW has clearly been driven, but also carefully looked after. For someone looking for a classic European sedan that's both reliable and enjoyable to drive, the E30 remains a fantastic choice. And at $7,500, this could be a great opportunity to own one of BMW's most iconic models. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 9. 1972 Mercedes-Benz W108 280 SE 4.5, priced at $7,450. Now this is a true piece of classic German luxury from the early 70s. The Mercedes-Benz W108 has long been admired for its elegant styling, solid engineering, and that unmistakable old-school Mercedes presence. This particular 280 SE 4.5 is an original San Francisco car with around 98,000 miles on the odometer. What's especially impressive here is the body condition. According to the seller, the car has had zero rust and still retains a very straight and solid structure, which is always a huge plus when dealing with classic sedans from this era. Visually, the car carries a beautiful two-tone look with gray paint and a black top. The silver paint has been touched up in some areas and shows its age, but the chrome and trim still look very nice. Step inside, and the interior is said to be in excellent shape, with a clean headliner and even the original Becker radio still working, something classic Mercedes enthusiasts will definitely appreciate. Under the hood sits the legendary 4.5-liter V8 paired with an automatic transmission, delivering that smooth and refined driving feel Mercedes was known for. The seller mentions the car still runs and drives, although it hasn't been used much in the last 5 years. Of course, it's not perfect. The air conditioning isn't working, a couple of windows need attention, and the tires are old. But overall, it's being sold as a project that's already starting from a very solid foundation. For someone looking to restore a true luxury classic, this W108 could be a very rewarding project. And at just $7,450, it's a surprisingly accessible entry into vintage Mercedes ownership. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 10. 1992 BMW 3 Series 325i Convertible 2D, priced at $8,700. Now here's a classic BMW that perfectly captures the spirit of open-top driving from the early 90s. The 1992 BMW 325i Convertible from the legendary E30 generation is still one of the most loved classic BMWs among enthusiasts today. This one comes finished in alpine white with a tan leather interior, a color combination that really highlights the elegant lines of the E30 convertible. It also features the later model plastic bumpers, which many enthusiasts prefer because they give the car a cleaner and more modern look compared to the earlier chrome versions. Under the hood sits BMW's smooth inline-six engine paired with a 5-speed manual transmission. According to the seller, the car runs strong and the gearbox shifts smoothly through all gears, which is exactly what you'd hope for in a classic driver's car like this. The odometer shows around 189,000 miles, although it's currently broken, with the true mileage estimated to be closer to 195,000 miles. Still, the car has recently received some important maintenance. Within the last 1,000 miles, the timing belt, water pump, thermostat, tires, oil, and accessory belts have all been replaced. That kind of maintenance goes a long way in keeping these E30s reliable and enjoyable to drive. With its original character, manual transmission, and open-top driving experience, this could make a fantastic weekend cruiser or even a fun classic daily driver. And at $8,700, it's a pretty appealing entry point into classic BMW convertible ownership. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 11. 1963 Chevrolet Corvair, priced at $10,900. Now this is one of the most unique American classics you can find from the early 60s. The Chevrolet Corvair was Chevrolet's bold attempt at building something different, an air-cooled, rear-engine car that stood out from the typical front-engine American sedans of the time. This particular 1963 example is a convertible, which already makes it a fun weekend cruiser. The design is clean and simple, with those smooth early 60s body lines that look even better with the top down. Under the rear deck sits a brand new 140 horsepower engine paired with an isky cam, giving the car a nice, slightly aggressive idle. The transmission has also been rebuilt, and the clutch and pressure plate are brand new as well, which means a lot of the important mechanical work has already been taken care of. The seller also mentions that the carburetors have been rebuilt, and the car has received new tires and a new battery. On top of that, it comes with 2 different sets of wheels, so the next owner can choose the look they prefer. One of the biggest highlights here is the body condition. According to the seller, there is absolutely no rust anywhere. The convertible top has also been replaced with a newer one and comes with a clean black boot cover. Overall, this sounds like a very solid driver that already has a lot of fresh mechanical work done, making it a great candidate for someone who wants to enjoy a classic right away. At $10,900, it's an interesting opportunity to own one of the most unconventional classics Chevrolet ever built. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 12. 1983 Alfa Romeo Spider, priced at $10,000. Now here's a classic Italian roadster that perfectly captures the spirit of open-top driving. The Alfa Romeo Spider is one of those cars that has remained iconic for decades, thanks to its beautiful styling and engaging driving experience. This particular example stands out immediately thanks to its rare light green exterior, paired with a black interior. Most Spyders from this era came in red or white, so this color combination gives the car a really unique and elegant presence on the road. The body is said to be in very good condition, and it still shows off those classic lines designed by Battista Pininfarina and the famous Pininfarina design house. Under the hood sits Alfa Romeo's well-known all-aluminum dual overhead cam inline-4 engine, paired with Bosch Elgitronic fuel injection and a 5-speed manual transmission. It's not about huge power numbers, but about the driving experience, revving through the gears with the top down on a winding road. This Spyder has around 123,500 miles on it, which suggests it has been enjoyed the way these cars were meant to be driven. It also comes equipped with 4-wheel power disc brakes, magnesium alloy wheels, power windows, tinted glass, and full instrumentation. Cars like this are less about straight-line speed and more about the feeling of connection between the driver, the road, and the machine. With its classic Italian design, manual transmission, and open-air driving experience, this Spyder could be a fantastic weekend cruiser or a rewarding light restoration project. And at $10,000, it's a pretty appealing entry into vintage Italian sports car ownership. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 13. 1971 Alfa Romeo Spyder Convertible 2D priced at $10,500. Now here's a classic Italian roadster that really captures the spirit of driving from the early 70s. The Alfa Romeo 1750 Spyder is part of the famous Series 2 generation, often called the square-tail Spyder, and it's widely loved for its balance of style, performance, and lightweight feel. This particular example comes finished in classic red with a black interior, a combination that perfectly matches the sporty personality of this Alfa. The body still shows off those elegant lines designed by the legendary Italian design house Pininfarina, giving the car the timeless roadster look. Under the hood sits the desirable 1,750 cubic centimeters inline-4 engine paired with Alfa Romeo's original Spica mechanical fuel injection system. It's a unique setup that, when properly tuned, delivers smooth performance and that signature Alfa engine sound enthusiasts love. According to the seller, the car was thoroughly gone through by an Italian car specialist in 2023. Making it a very solid driver today. It also benefits from several modern upgrades, including a 123 Bluetooth programmable distributor, new struts, a rebuilt transmission, LED headlights, and tires with less than 1,000 miles on them. On the road, cars like this are all about the driving experience, lightweight, responsive steering, and that classic open-air connection between driver and machine. Of course, there are still a few cosmetic issues to address. The paint shows some cracks and chips, the dashboard has the typical crack common on these cars, and the rear window of the soft top will need replacement. Still, with around 89,000 miles in strong mechanical condition, this Spyder could be a fantastic classic to enjoy while gradually improving. And at $10,500, it's a tempting entry into vintage Italian sports car ownership. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 14. 1972 Buick LeSabre Custom Sedan 4D priced at $11,500. Now here's a classic full-size American cruiser from the early 70s. The Buick LeSabre represents the era when comfort, size, and smooth driving were the top priorities. Finished in a tan exterior with a beige interior, this LeSabre has that warm vintage look that fits perfectly with its large, elegant body lines. Inside, the seller says the interior is immaculate, with no rips or cracks in the seats or trim. Something that's pretty impressive for a car over 50 years old. Under the hood, the engine reportedly has only about 25,000 miles on it, and several components have already been refreshed, including a new Holley carburetor, KYB shocks all around, a new brake booster, and a new BrakeMaster cylinder. On the road, cars like this are all about smooth cruising. With power steering, cold air conditioning, and a working heater, it sounds like a comfortable classic you can actually enjoy driving. With such a clean interior and mostly original condition, this LeSabre could be a great preserved classic or a light restoration project. And at $11,500, it's a solid entry into vintage American luxury. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 15. 1989 Ford Mustang, priced at $12,000. Now here's a classic American performance icon from the late 80s. The Ford Mustang GT from the famous Fox body generation has become one of the most popular Mustangs among enthusiasts thanks to its lightweight design and huge modification potential. This particular example comes finished in silver with a black interior, giving it that aggressive yet clean Fox body look. The car already features a Cobra or a style hood, which adds a more performance-oriented appearance right away. But the real story here is under the hood. According to the seller, the engine has been completely rebuilt from top to bottom and upgraded with several performance parts, including a GT40 intake, an MSD AL6 ignition system with billet distributor, an F-cam setup, larger 70mm throttle body, and new fuel injectors. Cooling has also been improved with a 3-core aluminum radiator and electric fans. The upgrades don't stop there. The suspension system has also been refreshed with KYB adjustable shocks and struts, heavy-duty springs, a full polyurethane bushing kit, and a rack and pinion setup, making the car feel much tighter on the road. Inside, the interior has been completely redone with a new kit, and the convertible top has also been replaced with a new stay-fast top. The seller also mentions a brand new air conditioning system, so it should stay comfortable even on warm days. Overall, it sounds like a very well-sorted Fox body that just needs paint and a few small finishing touches to really shine. And at $12,000, it could be a great opportunity for someone looking for a modified classic Mustang that's already had a lot of the hard work done. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 16. 1991 Nissan 300ZX Coupe 2D, priced at $14,500. Now here's a Japanese sports car that perfectly represents the performance scene of the early 90s. The Nissan 300ZX from the Z32 generation is widely respected for its futuristic styling, balanced handling, and strong V6 performance. This particular example comes finished in an off-white exterior paired with a tan interior, giving it a clean and classic look. One of the highlights here is the removable T-top roof panels, which let you enjoy open-air driving while still keeping the coupe style intact. Under the hood sits the naturally aspirated V6 engine, paired with the highly desirable 5-speed manual transmission. While the turbo versions of the 300ZX often get most of the attention, the naturally aspirated model is known for being simpler, more reliable, and easier to maintain, making it a great choice for someone who actually wants to drive and enjoy the car. This car has clearly been cared for over the years. The seller mentions upgrades like a Megan Racing exhaust system, a CSF radiator, new Century tires, and slotted brake rotors with red calipers. The timing belt was also replaced a couple thousand miles ago, which is an important maintenance item for these engines. Inside, the car features a JVC stereo with a JBL subwoofer, along with a Viper alarm system. It also comes with the original window sticker, owner's manual, a rare titanium key, and even 2 binders full of service records and upgrade documentation. With about 157,000 miles on the odometer, this 300ZX has clearly been driven, but it also sounds like it's been carefully maintained throughout its life. For someone looking for a classic Japanese sports coupe with strong reliability and a true driver-focused feel, this Z32 could be a great option. And at $14,500, it sits right in the range of a well-kept enthusiast car. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 17. 1971 Chevrolet Vega GT hatchback, priced at $16,000. Now here's a classic compact muscle project that turned into something much more serious. The Chevrolet Vega originally started life as one of Chevrolet's small economy cars of the early 70s, but enthusiasts quickly realized how much potential these lightweight bodies had. This particular Vega GT is finished in red with a black interior, giving it a bold and sporty appearance. The hatchback design already makes it stand out from typical muscle cars of the era, and the GT trim adds a little extra style to the package. But the real story here is under the hood. Instead of the original small engine, this car now runs a powerful aluminum-headed ZZ4 350 V8 paired with a 350 automatic transmission. Power is sent through a strong 12-bolt rear end, which is a big upgrade compared to the stock setup. To help handle that extra power, the car has also been equipped with 4-wheel disc brakes, providing much better stopping performance than the original system. According to the seller, the car runs and drives great, and the body shows no visible rust, which is always a major plus when dealing with classic cars from this era. This isn't built as a race car, it's meant to be a street cruiser. Something you can take out on the weekends, enjoy the V8 sound, and just have fun driving. With around 49,000 miles showing on the odometer and a solid performance setup, this Vega sounds like a unique classic that blends lightweight design with serious muscle. And at $16,000, it could be a very interesting choice for someone looking for a different kind of classic American performance car. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 18. 1968 Ford Mustang Grande, priced at $15,000. 1968 Ford Mustang Grande, priced at $15,000. Now here's a classic American coupe that still captures the spirit of the late 60s muscle car era. The Ford Mustang Grande was designed as a slightly more luxurious version of the iconic Mustang, blending sporty performance with a more comfortable interior. This particular example really stands out with its Acapulco blue exterior paired with a white top and an off-white interior. It's a color combination that instantly gives the car a vintage look, and it's the kind of Mustang that definitely turns heads wherever it goes. Under the hood sits a 302 V8 paired with a C4 automatic transmission. The seller mentions that several mechanical updates have already been done, including a rebuilt Edelbrock intake and carburetor, new fuel lines, spark plug wires, radiator, battery, fresh fluids, and more. The car is also riding on American racing wheels with like new BF Goodrich tires, giving it a slightly more aggressive stance while still keeping that classic style. According to the seller, the car runs great and is already a solid driver. There are a few small things left to sort out, like a minor lifter tick in cylinder number 3, and it currently doesn't have power steering installed, although the parts are included if the next owner wants to add it. Cosmetically, the paint has some chips and imperfections, and the windshield trim is missing, but overall the body is still solid. With around 140,000 miles on the clock, this Mustang sounds like a classic you can drive and enjoy right away while slowly improving it over time. And at $15,000, it could be a fun entry into classic Mustang ownership. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 19. 1972 Pontiac Lemons 455 V8 Sport, priced at $19,900. Now this is a classic American muscle car that brings both vintage style and serious performance. The Pontiac Lemons has always been known as the slightly more understated sibling to the GTO, but with the right engine under the hood, it can be just as exciting. This particular 1972 example comes finished in a gold exterior with a tan interior, giving it that unmistakable early 70s muscle car presence. The lines are bold, the stance is strong, and it definitely carries that classic Pontiac attitude. But the real highlight here is the engine. Under the hood sits a fully rebuilt 455 V8 that's been upgraded with forged rods and pistons, a forged crankshaft, aluminum heads, and long tube headers. Fuel is delivered through a 750 Holley double pumper carburetor with a larger fuel pump, which suggests this car was built with performance in mind. The drivetrain has also been upgraded with a 700R transmission and a B&M shifter, making the car both strong and more enjoyable to drive. According to the seller, the car runs and drives well, and both the interior and exterior are described as very clean. With around 97,000 miles on the odometer and a long list of upgrades, it sounds like a classic muscle car that's ready to be enjoyed. Cars like this are perfect for weekend cruising, local car shows, or simply enjoying the rumble of a big V8 on the open road. And at $19,900, it could be an interesting opportunity to own a powerful and upgraded piece of Pontiac muscle car history. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 20. 1978 Pontiac Skybird Esprit, priced at $22,000. Now here's something you definitely don't see every day. The Pontiac Skybird was a special edition of the Firebird lineup and part of Pontiac's unique bird trilogy, which also included the Red Bird and Yellow Bird. And interestingly, the Skybird was only produced for the 1977 and 1978 model years, making it a pretty rare find today. This particular example really captures that late 70s Pontiac style. It features a beautiful two-tone Lombard blue exterior with matching blue accent stripes and the signature Skybird decals on the sail panels. It also sits on color-keyed snowflake wheels, which were one of Pontiac's most iconic wheel designs of the era. Inside, the theme continues with a full blue interior, including special blue upholstery, a blue Formula steering wheel, and even custom blue seatbelts. It's a very distinctive look that perfectly matches the personality of the car. Under the hood, this Skybird is powered by a 305 V8 paired with an automatic transmission, offering that smooth, relaxed cruising experience that classic American cars are known for. The car has just over 70,000 miles and has reportedly been garage-kept, which helps explain why it still appears well preserved. There are a couple small notes from the seller, like the radio currently not working, but overall the car sounds like a clean and well-kept example of a rare Pontiac Special Edition. Cars like this are great for collectors, weekend drives, or simply owning a unique piece of late 70s American automotive history. And at $22,000, this rare Skybird could be an interesting addition to any classic car collection.